You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
And today on our Total Wellness Tuesday show, I've got a really fun topic, something that means a lot to me. And the reason why it means so much to me, and hopefully it will eventually by the end of this show to you, is that when I started implementing this one thing in my life, things really did begin to change. They began to change from a psychology-based perspective in terms of really how I looked at things, how I looked at the overall picture of where I was wellness-wise, but health-wise, but also where I saw my life going. And the other part was all of a sudden, literally, I would say within about 3 to 4 weeks, my energy levels doubled. And that's not an exaggeration. And here's why. The main topic of today, the topic that I feel is so important that it's not just not talked about. It's simply, there's no books on it, none that I've seen. There's no real articles talking about it, but yet there's real science to it. There's real, what's called the hormone system or the endocrinology of the body. When you look at this, when you look at how your body actually has its own natural rhythms inside and how if you can mimic those in everyday life, you'll be so much healthier. You'll have so much more energy and so much more reserves built up. So that's what I want to talk about right now is creating rhythms in your daily life. And what does that really mean? Well, what it means is this, is that your body is literally a creature of habit. It's so much happier and it's so much healthier when it gets to do the same things at the same time every single day. Now, the way that I first discovered this was that I had to look deep, meaning like I read, I would say, 50 to 100 books on insomnia and how to really improve my sleep. And really, none of them had the ticket. None of them had the trick to how I was going to improve my sleep. You know, they gave little like tips here and there, like, you know, make sure your room is dark. Make sure that you set your temperature somewhere around 68, 69 degrees. You know, all of these different things. Great. All of those things absolutely do help. But the number one thing, the absolute number one thing that did it was using certain nutritional supplements to help me fall asleep at a certain time every night and wake up at a certain time every single day. And you have to do that within a half hour for at least 2 to 3 weeks straight. So I went from a complete insomniac, someone that couldn't sleep for, let's just say it was a good night if I could fall asleep within 2 to 3 hours of my head hitting the pillow. That means if I went to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock, I wouldn't fall asleep until 1 in the morning minimum. Usually I'd try to go to bed around 11. I'd fall asleep at 2 or 3, and I'd wake up somewhere between, let's say, 6 and 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, just depending on the day, what time I had to go in, those types of things. Well, it was honestly, that was the worst thing I could have done. So what I did was this. I started to read about the adrenal glands. I started to read about cortisol and how cortisol was produced as the sun in your body naturally, as the sun starts to rise. So as the sun starts to rise, as it starts to become light out, your body starts to produce less melatonin and more cortisol. This is a natural rhythm of your body. That's why when people try to sleep late, try to go to bed later, it doesn't work. That's not how your body's supposed to be. Yes, people can sleep during those times, but it's not as natural. So here's what I did. Here's what truly worked. I'm not going to make this the whole show, but it's simply an example. I started to go to bed at 10 o'clock every single night, 10 to 10:30, right? Just within that half-hour window. And even if I couldn't fall asleep right away, I just stayed in bed and I made myself wake up at 6 to 6:30 that next morning. That's what I did. No matter what, let's say I just literally didn't go to sleep that night. Or it had taken me 3 hours to fall asleep and I didn't fall asleep till 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. That means I was only going to get 4.5 hours of sleep or so. I still woke up. Every single day, no naps during the day, went to bed at the same time, woke up at the same time. And what I did was I also exposed myself to a light box or a wake light that I've talked about before. And that would start to wake me up naturally with light so that it wasn't like literally an air raid siren. My alarm went off. My cortisol levels started to rise. I was a mess and I felt terrible in the mornings. So this was a much more natural way of doing that. So it took, let's say, a good 10 to 14 days for it to start to kick in. And then after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, those rhythms started to set in. Now I can truly tell you, when I put my head on the pillow, I fall asleep within 5 minutes maximum. It is a rare night where that doesn't happen. Now, the best part truly is, my favorite part, is that I wake up, let's say 10, 15 minutes before my alarm clock would typically go off. I wake up with more energy than I've ever had before in my life, even though every single year I'm obviously getting older. Even though I have 2 young children now, I still feel absolutely better than ever, and I don't need as much sleep. I don't need 9 hours sleep anymore. I need somewhere around 7 to 7.5 hours, and I try to get 7.5 to 8 hours every single night. So that is the difference. Nothing changed. Like, that's what it was, is getting myself into that rhythm. And now that rhythm becomes even greater when you can start to apply that to other facets and areas of your life. Meaning like this. I mean, I was a mess. I really was. I had issues with blood sugar. I had issues with hormones. I had issues with mood, all of these different things. So what happened was I started to schedule my meals. So I woke up then and I had that smoothie every single morning about 1 hour after waking. And once I had that, my body knew nutrition was on the way. And I started to just sip it over a 30 to 60 minute period of time. So it would take me an hour to finish that smoothie. I would make a really big smoothie that would get me super hydrated. And that felt absolutely so fantastic. And then every day at lunch, my lunch was somewhere around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So that's what it would be. And then I would have a mid-afternoon snack every day around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then I would have dinner around 7 o'clock every single night. So I just started to create all of these natural rhythms. Then my body would start to get hungry just 20 minutes or so before I was supposed to eat. And I said, okay, great, because that's when my next meal is coming. And I would then take it to the next level. Every day I started to work out at 2 o'clock or most days of the week. So my body would say, this is when we eat. We work out about 2 hours or so after we actually eat our lunch. And I just, again, started creating these rhythms, and life started to get a whole lot easier. And I didn't truly understand why at the time, but let me explain it to you. Is we have so many decisions to make during the day. There's a million things going on in our life. And we're also bombarded by all sorts of different stimulus. So the body truly appreciates when it has to make less really difficult, challenging decisions, right? So it's like, when am I working out today? When am I having lunch? When am I waking up? When do I go to bed? All of these things. If you can take that out of the way, what really are the major things to worry about? It's just the stuff that comes up during the workday. But even then, you could try to do a to-do list the night before. When you create these rhythms, it makes you have to use less bandwidth. And what does that mean? Well, the best analogy I can give you is this, is I'm notorious for this. When I open up my computer, I have 40 literally internet window tabs open. It's all sorts of different research, and it's different articles, and it's all the different things that I want to read. People sent me to look at this. And that right there, it's so distracting and it's so de-energizing, meaning it's overwhelming. It takes your energy away to look at all of those different things and to have to. So what I do is this. I now try to clear all of those out by the end of the day, start at 0. Same with emails. I only look at the today folder and I try to just clear those out by the end of the day. So what I'm saying to you is, if you don't have to worry about what's my breakfast going to be this morning? It's a smoothie. That's easy. That's what I do literally every morning. I have my greens drink, my lemon when I wake up. Then after that, I'm having my all-in-one. I'm putting my berries in there. I'm doing all the great things for my body. So I know I did it right. I know what I needed. That's going to kickstart me for the day. And then I know where I'm going to get lunch. It's going to be here today. So you don't have to think about things. I'm going to bed at this specific time. And so again, if it's a Monday through Friday, people saying, there's an event, you want to go to it. It's at, 11 o'clock. It goes to 11 and 12 o'clock. I'm most likely not going to. I might save that or so for the weekend. So my thing to you today is this. If you're suffering from energy issues, from anxiety, from feeling overwhelmed, from being irritable, to just want to stay in bed, that's a sign that your body is just zapped. You're just burnt out, that life doesn't hold the same excitement for you anymore. And the reason is this, is that you just have so much going on, you're overwhelmed, your brain is fried. It doesn't want to make any other decisions. It doesn't want to take on it anymore. And I see this in my practice all the time. There are a lot of people in my practice who don't even want to take a vacation. They're so overwhelmed because they don't want to plan it. They don't want to have to think about it. And if you're anywhere near that scope that I just explained right now, this is what I would say to you. Start to create your own rhythms. When you create your own rhythms in your life, you get to take back a little bit of control. When you feel like you're in more control, you're going to be more satisfied because you feel like your decisions are your decisions, that you're not just swaying back and forth as a small boat in a big sea. It's truly important. My number one thing, if you didn't tune in yesterday, please do tune in about the time management, I talked a little bit just inadvertently about rhythms as well. But take back your sleep first. Start to get to bed at an earlier time. Not only will your body need less energy if you get more hours before midnight, but you'll get to wake up earlier than other people in the world. If you wake up around 5:36, that's so much earlier than most people wake up. So you have an hour and a half, or 90 minutes or so to yourself. That's just your quiet time. That's your time to meditate, to exercise, to read, to start to plan your future, whatever it might be. That's your time. But again, you can't do that until you start to go to bed at the same time every night, wake up around the same time every single day. Then start to do that with your workouts, with your meals. Control the things that you can control. I'm telling you, if you do that, you'll be so much happier in life and you'll have so much more energy. I've just found since I've had more energy, I'm more ambitious. I have more drive. I want to do more things, but also I'm in a better mood. So when I'm with my family, when I'm with my kids, I'm more open. I'm more present. I enjoy that time with them. And I don't think I would if I was exhausted. So again, that's my tip to you. Hopefully you enjoyed today's Cabral concepts. And as always, if you feel that this information could help anyone else, please do feel free to share it with them.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.